My 2024 New Year's resolution is to
have a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, this one is correct.
Yes,
this one is correct.
I do want to have a baby because I'm already 31 this year. Oh my gosh. Saying
that's
that,
still
it's like,
young.
Yeah,
That's still
still
young.
very young. I'm already 31 this year. So one of my other goals is, of course, to have a baby, but also to live a healthy lifestyle. Because for me to get pregnant, I need to make sure that all of my insides are all healthy and up to par.
Sure.
But whether or not this is the correct mentality to have, well, that's why we have an expert on the show. Let me know.
Exactly, hence why we brought to you the best person in town to talk about this for the new year to coincide with your New Year's resolution. We have together with us SARINA SARIMAN, lecturer for the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences of MSU. SARINA, Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to you.
Waalaikumsalam. Very good morning
All right.
also. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How's your New Year's?
Yeah, how was your New Year's resolution?
Yeah, exactly.
Your New Year's first.
How was your New Year's? Was it fine?
Yeah,
was it okay?
it is fine. Yeah, but again, end of the year, recovering from flu and
Okay.
coughing.
Should we stay 10 feet away from you?
No,
You're
you should
fine,
be
right?
fine.
You're okay.
You should
Okay,
be
she's
fine.
fine. Okay. So let's kick things off again, as what Zoe was mentioning on top of the show. It's not just about getting into a healthy lifestyle, but also having to sustain it as well.
Correct.
So the question that I bet a lot of people would have this question is that what are some of the practical tips for incorporating more physical activities into your daily routine? Because the fact that people always give excuses, I'm so busy, I'm busy with stuff, I don't have
no
time, I have no
yeah.
time. Time is always an enemy of me, whenever I want to do all the things. So what are the kind of things that is practical enough to combine, sort of?
Okay, I think by now everyone are familiar already with what physical activity is, right? And it refers to body movement. And if we plan it in such in which it is repetitive, it becomes exercise. And the opposite of physical activity is sedentary behavior. So often people put again, as part of their New Year resolution, that one of the things that they want to change is increase physical activity, but they did not exactly include it in their planners in daily planning. And basically, if we talk about physical activity, it can be categorized according to light, moderate, or even high or vigorous. And if we go into specific, the technical part, it can be occupational related. It can also be household chores as well as leisure activity as well. And I would say, talking about practical tips, it could be focusing on either one or perhaps if all, these three categories. So let's say if you feel like you would like to increase more of your physical activity at your workplace, right? Find time where you could incorporate some elements of physical activity, and it doesn't have to be very intense for it to be giving you health benefits. It can be as simple as or as light as walking stairs, up the stairs, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I have a grudge. I want to say it to the audience who are at home.
Okay,
listen carefully.
Okay, you sound angry. Okay.
Yes, no, it's because simply like you said, we always try to say, or one of our main things that we always say, New Year's resolution is that we want to live a healthier lifestyle. But to those of you who work on the first floor, if you're not carrying anything heavy, why must you take the escalator, the lift
escalator
up?
or elevator?
Yeah, elevator, for example. So that is one of the tips you actually include in creating a more healthier lifestyle. One of my favorite ones is actually parking very, very far away from the office door, right?
Correct. Even if you went grocery shopping, parking a bit further.
I like to always park at the entrance, like right at the entrance, because I do carry 3-4 bags, me, family man, but...
True, but that's a trolley,
Yeah, actually there is, Right? Again, excuses. Humans and excuses are always going to be there.
And often these practical tips, it is related to things that you like. For example, Zoe, any physical activity that you like?
Oh, I do a lot of sports. Yeah, I'm a big sports person. So I take the time to at least schedule workout once or twice a week, at least once or twice.
Okay.
But for a full 45 minutes.
That should be good enough, And if you are able to sustain it throughout 2024, then should be very, very good.
So I read somewhere that it takes us 14 to 21 days to actually create a habit. So is that something that, because you talked about repetitive movement,
yes, correct.
So I'm going to link that to having a repetitive or a routine habit, right? Repetitive habit or routine. So for our audiences at home, if they continuously do something, for example, they decide to, I think you were jogging last year a lot, for 21 days straight. And if they continue on doing it after day 22, 23, and so forth, will it become a habit? And will they feel a sense of like, oh my gosh, something is missing from my daily routine, from my calendar? So would that help actually to continuously do something for 21 days straight?
It depends also on individual. I guess each and everyone have their different challenges and barriers, right? To some, if they are perhaps do not have any other commitment, perhaps more time to focus on continuously doing that particular habit, then it should be beneficial to them, But often for us, sustaining that particular behavior is the one that is a bit challenging. And I would say, in terms of New Year resolution, short-term goals could be much more workable for them.
Right.
So, for example, for this particular week, you would like to try to include at least a minimum of 30 minutes of physical activity in a day. So, if you are able to achieve it, it is also already an accomplishment. But and if you are able to continue into the second week, third week, so that again, later on will actually lead to creating a habit.
So rather than expecting you to fulfill your target throughout the whole 12 months of the year, set a much shorter goal for you to achieve it, at a higher rate, at a higher possibility.
Because often if we sort of like feel a sense of achievement, we feel motivated to do more, to continue to do more.
Because I have this friend, I wanted to share this story really quickly. So my friend who has never been to the gym, she is a musician. The only heaviest thing she carries is her amps. It's a camel,
That's an occupational hazard, actually.
Yeah, exactly. But so we started roping her to go to the gym with us, and then true enough, by I think a month later, having never deadlift before, this 40 kg woman deadlift 90 kilograms. That's twice, almost more than twice her weight. And and it's because we encourage her. We make sure that we keep her accountable, right? I think that's what we want to use is like accountability. So would having a buddy, using a buddy system, going out with friends, going to the gym with friends, having a jogging buddy as well, would it make us more accountable in achieving our New Year's resolution?
Yes, that's what I would like to add as well, because monitoring is one of the most important part also in sustaining behavior. And nowadays, since you mentioned about buddy, yes, it works very well because normally doing any activity, we do not like to feel alone, right? So if we have friends, or again, with family, a significant other spouse, even children, for example, will work. So that, let's say for children, if we start to educate them from young, it could sustain or it could become a habit also later on. And talking about monitoring, I think we now have this advancement of technology, all these Android apps,
reminders,
and whatnot.
Smartwatch that you could utilize to optimum in terms of either not just physical activity but other health status as well.
Sure. Okay, but one thing that nobody can actually deny this ever is that I have to put it out there. We live in Malaysia.
Oh,
we live in Malaysia.
I already know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going with this.
I
We live in Malaysia where we are blessed, alhamdulillah, with the tastiest, most scrumptious, lovely food there is known to man. And that has, you see how passionate I'm talking about it? And that has always been the stumbling block for a lot of people. The thing is, people always tend to forget that when it comes to having a healthy lifestyle, it's 20% exercise and 80% of what you actually consume, what you actually eat. Now, please educate me and the audience over here on how can people have that mindset, or what can they start off with? Maybe something not so huge, but slowly.
I think in terms of talking about eating healthily, right? The first thing that everyone should do is actually being aware of what would be the current status, right? For example, how do you eat at the moment, right? So it is actually very, very important because from there only we can actually start in terms of modifying or changing a particular behavior. For example, for working adult, for example, if observation or record of what we normally consume in a day shows that we eat out 90% of the time, right? So, so perhaps the changing of that particular behavior should focus on that particular component.
Okay.
And if, for example, we are not able, because of the work commitment, we are not able to somehow fulfill the component of eating healthily, eating a healthy breakfast, for example, right? So try to adopt or modify so that the components that is required is not missing from your daily diet. So that will be what I, especially with regards to working adult, because basically, even now, especially for those who travel very far, you spend, could be 30 minutes or 1 hour driving. It could also be sedentary behavior. And then because of this rushing to work and so on, you are not able to grab something as healthy as possible, right?
Oh, yes. I was just telling you about my breakfast adventure this morning where I only had 1 bun, and immediately Prof's face went like, 1 bun? Really?
That's how nutritionists think, that's why.
Yes. But again, it depends on your physical activity as well, because when we talk about eating, it should be balanced in terms of how you utilize that particular energy later on.
Okay.
And for those who have the knowledge, for example, they could somehow adjust or amend accordingly. For example, let's say during the weekend, you are receiving an invitation to attend a wedding, maybe, right? So you could
with
a function and so on, So you could be expecting that you could be eating slightly more. So you could be planning to utilize back that particular.
So
I can imagine coming golek already, seriously. I'm imagining coming golek already,
Coming golek, the nasi minyak, the rendang. Basically, after you finish the wedding, walk back to your car.
I thought walk back to home. No.
If you can, walk back home. But I want to touch a little bit. You've mentioned sedentary behavior.
Yes.
So you mentioned this twice now. Can you explain to our audience what does it mean?
When we talk about sedentary behavior, it refers to very low physical activity in which of course, there are units of measurement that we normally quantify physical inactivity, but it is associated with activities such as watching television or screen.
This is basically a fancy word for couch potato. Yes,
correct.
This is the more appropriate word for couch potato.
And again, it is also associated with more desk job related, because we talk about sometimes
where you're very much stationary.
Yes.
Okay.
So sitting for longer period of time, and it is also related to, again, reclining or lying while doing things. And sometimes there are also those who eat while lying down.
I don't know what you mean by that. No, I didn't.
We have all had those lazy days where we're just sitting at home.
One thing, of course, when we talk about healthy lifestyle, again, Sarina, is that we associate it with, again, exercising, with healthy food intake, so on and so forth. But one thing a lot of people do actually forget is to have enough rest, enough sleep as well. I mean, is it true that the myth saying that an adult of age of a certain age needs to have a sleep time between 5 to 6 hours or 7 to 8 hours? How does having a proper scheduled sleeping time helps you with your healthy lifestyle?
Sleep is actually very important because it is related to our brain function. So our brain control all the physiological, psychological, or even behavioral aspect of our daily diet, and we do have this what we call as internal clock, circadian rhythm. If you have heard of that, in which it regulates our body temperature, physiological, and it sort of like set when normally we do sleep, or when normally are we awake and more productive and so on. And so let's say this particular cycle is being disrupted, for example. So your physiological process in the body change. For example, you stay up very late, right? And then that will be your body clock normally tells you that will be the time where you normally sleep. So body temperature become lesser. So your body is not as active. But then because normally when we stay up late, you tend to be hungry, right?
Oh, yes.
Eat, right? So because of that, the metabolism process may be affected as well, in which perhaps the digestion may not be as good, right? So same goes, for example, because you stay up late, for example, coming into morning in which the body clock tells you that it should be very active, but then you are sleeping.
Yeah.
Right.
We've had all these moments where, especially when, before, because we're about like 5 minutes left on the show, I want to ask, how early do you need to set your sleeping habit? Like, because my parents used to ask me to sleep by 10. That was like, I was like, why? I'm like, you know, I'm 10 years old. I can stay up all night. Now in my 30s, I'm like, yeah, I should sleep at 10. So how early should you start your sleeping habit?
I think it is not the timing. Yeah? Of course, the timing matters because normally the body clock, 10 to until perhaps 5 or 6, it could be the best time where our body can rest well. Yeah? But as long as perhaps, according to Sleep Foundation, 18 to 60 years of age, if you are able to achieve 7 hours of good quality sleep, it should be beneficial to your health. So some of the tips that they suggested or recommended in achieving good sleep include some of the elements surrounding that sleeping. Perhaps you're talking about good mattress.
So what about people who are in their 30s like us here? like us.
If you are able to achieve 7 hours of sleep, continuously, right?
Uninterrupted.
Yes, good quality
deep sleep, right?
Yes,
not light sleep where you terbangun terkejut in the middle of the night.
Well, it's going to be a challenge for you. Should you have a baby around?
I know. I am looking forward to sleeping when my baby sleeps. That's a number one tip I always hear. But speaking of which, that's causing me stress right now. Stress management is also important of living healthy lifestyle. But of course, we cannot ever avoid stress. For me, the littlest things always stress me out.
Like heights.
Heights. any
stress at work.
And whatnot. So how can one manage their stress? What's the most effective way in managing the stress? We can't avoid it. How can we manage it?
Might as well just, how?
I think normally stress is related to mental health, and in Malaysia, the case of depression, though it is still, I think, 2 to 3%, but it's still present in the community, and it could be related to, again, anxiety and stress as well. And when we talk about stress, little stress could be very good also, because it motivates you, it triggers you to get started, it challenges you, for example, right? But coping strategies with regards to stress is actually very important as well. And I would say managing stress could be slightly different according to how an individual adapt to it. For example, if we relate to, again, the physical activity just now, right? If you can have a buddy, friends, regularly doing physical activity with you, so if you feel some sort of like increased pressure, you could be sharing your worries with your friends, or your trusted one, for example, and then that could somehow reduce that particular stress as well. But of course, looking, if you are facing some pressure, stress, right? You should not, how to say?
Bottle it up.
Keep it
inside.
Correct.
And just not let anyone, like, always find an outlet. You know, a person, someone that you love, or if even at that level, maybe seek professional help should it needs to be.
Yes, and there are also research that mentioned that let's say if you have children, or even partners, husband, wife, right? Hugging, touching.
It helps to increase the dopamine, right?
Yes,
the
yes,
serotonin and dopamine.
Yes,
Okay.
The happy hormones.
Correct. So that could be the simplest way, I would say. That we
the single people are crying right now. I have no partner. What do I do?
Yes, I need a hug right now.
But you can perhaps go and hug a friend.
Yeah, go and hug a friend. Go hug your husband, your wife, your daughter, your sons, or whoever it is. We are running out of time almost, but we do want to give you another chance here, Sarina, to address our audience here again. Give them a bit of a tips, like a simple tips. In going into this new year, happily, healthily, not mentally. No, what I'm trying to say is that
try to live a healthy lifestyle.
I need to check my mental state. So please.
That's why stress.
I'm stressed here right now. Please, Sarina, please.
So healthy eating and active living is something that we should actually practice, because it works together. If you eat healthily, you could actually prepare your body to become much more better in terms of fighting infection, talking about the current situation. And in terms of stress, in terms of even maintaining a healthy weight and so on, right? There are platform that you could refer. Yeah? For example, if we talk about nutrition, you could always refer to, we have nutritionist KKM. Yeah?
You can always seek
Yes, yeah. There are platforms, yeah? Meaning there are sources that you could actually refer to ensure that you gain more knowledge, and then if you feel that you need further guidance, yeah, come and meet us lah. Nutritionist, yeah.
Exactly.
Go to MSU and just knock on.
Knock on Sarina SARIMAN, the lecturer for Faculty of Health and Life Sciences at MSU. Again, her door is always open. And
Exactly.
so everyone else. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.